We had the pleasure of being on some panels together and really enjoyed that. If you can skip back to when you were a successful just regular agent,
Right.
individual agent out there in the market, you decided, hey, it's time to start a team. What made you go that route as opposed to just staying like a solo agent and doing referral partners?
Absolutely. Yeah. So leveraging time, right? So I it's not that I don't like customers. It's just the more that you work with them and you do it over and over and over again, you kind of lose the, I don't want to say the passion, but the excitement goes away. And I always wanted my customers to get the best of me. And
Mhm.
so sometimes the best of me was not necessarily me being there. And so finding a referral partner to start with, and then saying, you know what, I can do this at scale. And lead generation was something that I always knew how to do. And so I could generate a whole bunch of leads, and then I just work the ones that I could work myself, and kind of let the ones go by the wayside that I couldn't get to.
Yeah, and part of it, and let me know your thoughts here. It just popped in my head. Part of it is responsibility, I
Mhm.
think, or obligation to the industry. So you've developed a vast amount of education. There's always new agents coming in. They're coming in whether you like it or not.
Right.
And the successful ones will figure it out whether you like it or not. Why not just get in the way of that? You be the one that pours into them, kind of like Danny Garcia said earlier. You can pour your skill, your experience into them, and then that way, whenever they go off on their own and they're a rock star, like you get that like value, like almost like a father or a parent, knowing that you impacted their life. Did any of that come into play, or did you think of that along the way?
Some, yeah, because I like seeing people make money, and it's fun because I've done well in my career. I did well in my career before real estate. My background was in medical sales, so I've always been in a position that paid very good. And then when I looked at real estate, going, oh my goodness, people have the opportunity with in the state of Florida, it's 63-hour course that you don't have to leave your home for, that you can get in your pajamas. And all of a sudden you've got a license to go out, and if you've got the right hustle and you've got the right skill and you've got the willingness to take a risk, you can make a whole bunch of money. And I like the idea that it doesn't matter what your background is. There are so many barriers at the entry to getting a quote unquote prime medical sales job, that getting a real estate license was super simple. And it's like, man, I like that people have the opportunity, and they're not having someone else telling them that they're not worthy enough to make that kind of income.
Yeah, basically the real estate license keeps you out of jail, but it
Yeah.
doesn't teach you the
No.
business. That's where you're going to learn it from a mentor. You're going to get a coach,
Yep.
or you're going to join a team. So, how did you go about finding the maybe their previous relationships, or how'd you go about selecting the first few team members?
Yeah, so when I first started building my team, I was over at Remax, and so there were plenty of agents that had gotten their license, parked it with Remax, they're paying their $1,200 a month and struggling and about to get out of the business. And it's like, look, guys, if all you're needing are opportunities and you need leads, I'll show you how to convert the leads. I'll generate them. I'll show you how to convert them. And they already kind of knew how to open doors and work MLS and that type of stuff. So it wasn't like a brand new agent coming in, but they didn't have a lot of sales skills. And that was the one thing that really surprised me with this industry, is that there are so many people that don't do the things necessary and understand how difficult what we do is. And there are enough people out there that kind of bump into transactions and think that, hey, I sell 5 or 6 houses a year, and I'm a successful salesperson. It's like, well, no, I mean, sell 10, sell 20, sell 30, and be able to provide the service and support and the expertise that you really can do a great job for your customers.
Yeah, and I tell agents this all the time. You get your license, you are now a business owner. You just
Yes.
happen to be all jobs in your business. That's good and bad. Um, you can do whatever you want, but you have to do everything, which includes sales, marketing, conversion, accounting, bookkeeping, transaction management, customer support, and then there's timelines and deadlines. And you get your CRM and all this stuff that the agent has to do. Thankfully, starting out, it's not much. But once you get a few transactions, because you usually don't have systems in place yet,
Right.
that becomes a mountain. Or, and a lot of people don't like that. They want to do one thing. They want to talk to people.
Yeah.
They love houses and they want to talk to people. So joining a team for those agents, you will take a split, but you don't have all those other jobs and headaches probably you don't like anyway. You can learn, develop, and then you can focus on what you like.
Exactly. Yeah, and we've got people that have been on our team, 3, 4, 5 years, and my whole goal is to kind of grow them up. That if they want to step out and do this on their own, hey, I'll show you and help you put the tools in the systems. And they're like, I don't want to have any part of that. I like operating in my lane, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong answer to it. It's just before the EXP business model, it was always a scary proposition to raise that person up to be able to do exactly what I do, because if they did it and they did it well, now all of a sudden there's no place for them in our organization. They would step away, either leave the brokerage, leave our team, and all that training, everything's not only gone, all the trailing income is now gone. And now all of a sudden they're competing with me for the same types of stuff that I've been, showing them how to do. So
yeah, that's the
yeah,
dichotomy. So Danny and I talked about this earlier. You grow and develop them, then at some point, a lot of them are going to want to go off on their own, either
right.
individual or maybe start their own team or whatever. And it can be tough. I always say, hey, just value relationships over transactions. Things will work out over time. Like, always do that. But as far as the financial relationship, which is real, that is a real money that and real revenue that you're losing, and a client base that you're losing, that's real. But really, with any other brokerage, that's gone forever. But since
Yeah,
you brought up EXP, that's not true. The financial relationship from a core team, now the splits and all that may be gone, but the revenue share relationship, that lasts in perpetuity, as long as they stay with EXP.
exactly. Exactly. And it's funny because, we always will go back and kind of monitor the agents who transitioned off our team before we came to EXP, transitioned off our team and went to other brokerages, and their success is never duplicated. And the amount of income that they make is less than what they were making on the lower team splits. And so, that always burned in the back of my mind that, man, as much as I want to hold people on, sometimes they have to go in order to understand what we were providing for them.
Yeah.
And so now, as we're having those conversations and onboarding people onto our team, it's like, look, I want you to, before they come on, we want them to say EXP is the company that we want to partner with long term, and that is the ice cream. And then we just happen to be the whipped cream and the sprinkles on top, that they get to come to our team. They can still participate in all the stuff that EXP is doing, but they get to grow and learn and operate under our banner until there's a point in time where they decide that, hey, I'm ready to go do this on my own, or I want to go grow my own team.
Yeah, I want to draw one comparison, and we'll close it with this, because I think this is huge for team leaders. I drive this into team leaders all the time. So if you can go back to your other brokerage, you mentioned it's Remax. It doesn't really matter what brokerage.
Okay.
I join your team. I'm a new agent. Now I'm out there doing $6 million a year. I'm like, hey, I don't need to pay this guy 50% or 30% or whatever.
Right.
I like you, but it's just time for me to move on. But I still want some coaching and guidance. Like, what's your incentive, even though you may like me, your incentive to coach me once I left your team, and you're not making any money off me anymore,
Right.
to
Exactly.
now train me or network and collaborate with me as your competitor, is probably nearing on 0%.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's, as much as anything on the other side, they're too embarrassed to ask for it, even though they need
There's
it.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
True. Yeah.
Yep.
Because they may feel like a little bit of bad blood or whatever.
Yep.
EXP, same situation. I join your team. I get out, I flourish, I go off on my own. I'm in your revenue share team. And hey, Chris, got this question. Really weird situation on this transaction. Not sure where to go with it. Or I send that text.
Yep.
Now, your incentive to help me grow my business still exists. I mean, you still have your core team responsibility, but that revenue share team is that relationship it's real and it
Absolutely.
extends. And you're financially rewarded even more as I grow.
I tell other team leaders, and when I'm speaking with an individual agent as well, is that you want as many people highly interested in your success as you do, right? And in a traditional brokerage model, it's typically the broker, and that's it. There might be a sales manager, maybe, but typically it's just the broker is the only one who's financially incentivized by that relationship with you in the brokerage. And what I love is that at a minimum, I have 7 people that are highly vested and highly interested in the success that I have, not only selling houses, but if I want to help the company grow, they want to help me grow with me, right? And so when you have that many people that just on a micro level are vested in your success, if I'm not successful, it's not the company's fault.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That
my
point, you
fault.
just didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I didn't ask for the help. I didn't follow what people who walked before me did. I tried to, do my own thing. And if it didn't work, it wasn't because the support wasn't there. It's because I refused to go there.
Yeah, that's a compelling conversation to have with really any team leader that they should go reflect on. So